see that.
Interesting. So, someone says, why do you think some people are able to use voodoo to get ahead in life, while others also practice voodoo and they seem to always be struggling or not benefit in the same way from it?
Okay, I'll say this. There's people that practice not to become greater in life. Some people just practice because they want to practice, right? And then there are some people that don't know what they're doing. Or they can be people that have gotten a fake initiation, whatever, and basically, if not a fake initiation, the person who initiated them brought them into the tradition and they didn't know what they're doing. Now that person's life starts falling apart, right? Your initiation can be bad and that can affect your life and your well-being, right? Again, and there are some people that know what they're doing and they make a living off of what they know, so then there's some people that just use it to better their chances in life. They have the right type of formation. You're formé bien. They've been formed correctly, so now they have that connaissance, the knowledge of how to make things work for themselves. And that's why when they go into business, they're successful at it, because now they're doing their rituals, they're serving correctly, and now their money coming in, their business is thriving. Where
But
we
one
say,
thing
yeah,
I
but
can
then
see even from you is that you don't look like, I've heard stories about, people that practice like, darker things and they start to look like deteriorated, look jacked up. What is the difference between a person that ends up looking all messed up because of what the work that they're doing versus how you're doing the work, but it might be not affecting you?
I'm gonna say this. We have a saying in Haitian Creole, faut respecter principes, right? You have to respect the principles, right? See, a lot of people, they're just doing stuff, but they don't know what they're doing, right? It's like this, man. A lot of people get into this thinking that I'm going to put this together, I'm going to put that together. It's a lot of things that's involved in that. You say you can't just get up in there, go to Botanica and purchase this oil here, that incense there, that candle there, and think you're going to do something. More than likely, that thing is going to backfire on you. So you got people that don't know what they're doing, and they're doing this stuff, and they're only bringing condemnation on themselves, right? Now, on the same token, you got to be wise, because like my grandfather said, that I was told from my elders, was that my grandfather said that certain things you do can take years from your life, right? And yeah, so with that said, there's some people that know how to manipulate that to their advantage. Let's just say, I'll say this. Some people may get someone that they don't care about. Go do this, knowing damn well that they're going to destroy themselves in the process of doing that. So in English, that would be considered a crash dummy. Sometimes you have people that are sent on crash dummy missions. Yeah, you're going to do what I need you to do, but in the same token, you're going to crash out. And you take that. And my life is striving. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just how it is. When I tell you, I made this, I know this maybe it sounds dirty to you, but that's just how the world is in the world of Haitian culture and Haitian Voodoo. You have people out here that will send somebody else on a crash dummy mission. Go drop this here, knowing that that shit can affect the person who's doing it. They don't care as long as they get paid. You know what I'm saying? Uh, that's how it is. Mm-hmm. So you find someone doing evil, but they're not affected by it because their hands are not getting dirty, depending on what's being done.
So there's been this main character in the thing, Scam Chan. He said, if this held any power, the world would be in chaos from all spells. What's your opinion on that?
I will just say this. as far as that's concerned, there's things that happened, and I'll leave it like that. There's things that has happened, right? Now, I'll leave it as that. There's definitely things that have happened, and I would definitely say it's not good. In the hands of the right, let me say right person. In the hands of the wrong person, things can get worse than it is. And you'll be surprised at how many people behind the scenes are doing this shit.
Wow.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? So are both cores chosen from birth?
I mean, listen, if some people believe in predestination, then I can look at it like that. I mean, I came from it. Most in according to my tradition, they'll say that you're chosen from birth. If you come from a Voodoo family, that's what's going to follow you. You know, I mean, for me, they try to keep it from me. I mean, but then here it goes. I found out what it was, and then I started getting in contact with people. And then when they saw that I was really good at what I was doing, that's when they opened up a little bit more to me, family wise. But again, everything was chosen before I was even born. I just would say that maybe it was my calling to do what I do because when I was a kid, my grandfather called me Chef Munzi, which means chief of bandits, chief of thugs, chief of gangsters, etc. And he saw that in me as a child. I had to be about 5 years old or so. That's what his name was for me, Chef Munzi.
So lately, the whole world of like this esoteric world, when it comes down to things, has become more popular. You see more people getting the E5. You see more people practicing witchcraft. You see more people practicing all these like, older traditions. What is your take on that?
Um, my take on that is get into it for the right reason, right? 1 second. And get into it for the right reason. Get into it for the right reason. You don't want to be a brusito, right? A brusito to me is this. Okay, well, a brusito is, let's just say, let's just say this. You get yourself into difficulty. Now you want to run to a religion for protection, right? You're out here, you're claiming to be a big bad sorcerer, and now when shit gets on you, that's when you want to throw ilikes on. You want to say that you're into this, you're into that. You know, get into the religion for the right reason, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you want to get into religions for the right reason. You want to get into it because that's their calling. One thing I see it today with the trend of these religious practices is that a lot of people are getting into it for ego's sake, right? And I would definitely say that I see that a lot in I rather not I rather not say that about speak on other traditions. But in some traditions, I see that a lot of people get into them so they can say, I'm this priest or I'm this priestess, right? And they do all types of things, and I would say that's for the wrong reason. See, in my world, where I come from, if you're just talking air, someone's going to show you. You know what I'm saying? Someone's going to show you what this stuff is really about. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
They're gonna show you. Mhm.
what about sex magic? Does that exist?
I mean, sex magic, that's a very taboo topic. I mean, listen,
It's taboo.
I
All
would
this
say,
stuff you talk about Haitian stuff, that's gonna be the
yeah, I
thing
mean,
that's
that's
taboo.
a taboo topic because we're in America here, and I would keep it limited whatsoever. I would definitely say it's there, and it's always for. I would just say this: the end justifies the means to some people. You do for me, I do for you.
Do you think that you utilizing, fluids, you know, is a bad thing,
I
good
look at
thing?
like from what I can say is this: it's never for the reasons that you think. I would say it's for whatever purpose the individuals have, or the objective. But it's always in my world is for a purpose. It's like we say boucante, right? It's like an exchange. You know what I'm saying? You want this to happen and that right there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hello?
Scam Chan, I'm sorry. Welcome to the chat, Scam Chan. He's been very active in uh you know uh in the chat room, so I wanted to like allow him and whoever else to come up and ask you questions. We're at we're into the first hour Marcus interview. After that, we allow the audience to join. So if anyone else wants to join, I put the link into your chat on Facebook, also on YouTube. So anyone that's on Facebook and YouTube on Bokor Elmira's thing has the opportunity to join as well. Uh, so go ahead, Scam Chan. Did you?
But ask them a question now. Hello, hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Um, so the things you're talking about, are they just limited to Haiti, or all the things you're talking about can happen anywhere?
I would say the accessibility definitely can have an impact on some of the things I'm speaking about, because some of the things that are done are not necessarily magic. Some of those things are just knowing the knowledge of things that are lethal to the human health or human body. And if you're in a foreign country, you may have access to those things, where per se in America, you may not have access to those things.
Well, it's not
Such
about
as
me.
certain herbs and things like that. So okay, let me just give you an example, Scam Chan. In Colombia, they have a specific herb called burundanga, right? So you might think that sounds crazy. You can't make a person into a zombie. But in Colombia, there's an actual tree that grows up it's called the devil's breath, right? It is called burundanga. And if you give it to a person and you blow it in their face, they'll do anything that you say, including walk into a tomb. And this particular herb was used for the kings in the Aztecs, that when a king died, they would blow it into the face of all his wives and they would just walk into the tomb and die with the king. So this is not just all just hocus pocus. Some of this stuff is just real, actual, like practical things that just people knew how to do. You understand what I'm saying? So everything is not hocus
It's,
pocus.
and it's like this. In slavery, when the slave masters, we have a guy named Macandal, Francois Macandal, right? He was burnt alive because of the rebellion he started in Haiti, right? Most people don't talk about Francois Macandal. But what did he do? He poisoned the water that the French were drinking. And he would lay certain things down in the bed of the slave masters' wives. And, basically they would start scratching their body until they ripped their flesh off. There's certain things, there are properties of certain plants, there's certain animals that can cause certain things. And the knowledge of this stuff can actually be dangerous in the hands of the wrong people. So this isn't necessarily magie. This is something we can look at as, let's just say, biological. Are you with me?
Yeah, I don't have much to say about that. I'm just listening. I mean, I can't prove it or disprove it. I just think it's it's just odd to hear it being spoken about when, you know, I'm looking around, I don't see any of that happening, but you say it's
Let me
happening.
ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is arsenic poison?
Yep.
There you go. Hmm?
Yeah. Bottom line is that okay. So what? So the bottom line is that and so sometimes you could be so atheistic that it goes beyond just, you know, common sense, because to think that everything is just so explainable, some things, if you don't know the science behind it, then you won't be able to explain it. But if these people know the science behind these herbs,
I mean,
then they're gonna be able to make
water can
things
poison
happen
you.
that you can listen. They'll be able to make things happen that you, as a logical person, can explain, right? And that happens all the time, all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
It's like they say with the Native Americans, right? They say that the Europeans gave the natives of where they, well, the natives, I think either that was in North America, but I definitely know that, well, they say that they gave them blankets with smallpox. Now, atheists, do you believe that?
blankets with smallpox, I've heard about that.
Right. Now, is smallpox, let's just say, contagious?
Yeah.
Right. So now, let's just say this. You have some cattle, you have their skin that has smallpox. Now, if someone places on a bed that you're sleeping in or places it on your clothes, do you think the chances of you getting, would you say that you can get smallpox like that?
Chances are good.
Right. So there we go.
I think that people, like, when they think about voodoo, they just only go into the aspect of it. It is way more deeper than that. It's a combination of things. It's not
there's a level that's spiritual and there's a level that's scientific.
Well, I'm all about the spiritual part. I don't see the spiritual stuff people are talking about.
Well,
You're talking about
seek and you shall
diseases.
find.
You're talking about diseases and like they have a cure for smallpox.
I think
There's a cure for smallpox.
because the thing about it is you think of what you've been told about voodoo. You have a Hollywood perception of voodoo. Again, let's just say, yes, you have a Hollywood perception of voodoo, right? And it's not exactly that way. That way, it's not. See, voodoo, again, we have to distinguish between religion and what we call malficte, the business of malficte. What does malficte mean? It means the business of evil doing. Now, the business of evil doing, that's some people have associated that with the religion of voodoo. That's why the title of this video is Haitian Voodoo and the Haitian Voodoo religion or sorcery, right? A lot of people they put into the category of sorcery are into the business of evil doing, right? And the business of evil doing isn't necessarily always magic in Haiti. And I specifically say that in Haiti because nobody in America is doing half of the stuff that's going on in Haiti. If you were, you would be arrested and buried under the jail.
And I would also say, like I said, people when people think about, even in Africa, right? They'll see a person dancing dancing and stuff like that, and be like, "Oh, well, that's But when you see but it's so there's the overtone of the magic of how did this person do that, but then there's the undertone of the mystery of they know how they did it, but you don't know how they did it. So
see, the thing about
okay.
go ahead, I'm listening to you.
I was saying, and welcome Napa. So Napa is actually the reason why you're here, sir. So I wanted to give her shouts out because if it wasn't for her, I had no idea who you were. And shouts out to Napa. This has been the most awesome interview I've done, because in a long time. Because I'm like, man, I did not know as much as I'm finding out here. Go ahead, Napa.
Yeah, peace to you, Genesis, and peace to your guests. Yes, I actually am a longtime subscriber and watcher of uh I don't know how to address you. Is it
This is Elmira or Leonard.
Elmira?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm glad that you got to sit down with her. She works fast. I just showed her your channel like was it 2 hours ago?
Yes.
So I said to her, I said, I don't know how I didn't, it had to be spiritual that I didn't even think to tell her. She's been interviewing so many different interesting people, and she is a practitioner of Ifa, and I don't know a lot about it, but I do find a lot of your information really intriguing. And I just came up to because she asked me to, and I want to support her. And also, I don't know about the other gentleman. I don't want to leave him out of the conversation. I'm sorry if you don't mind introducing yourself to me, sir, in the hat with the glasses.
Well, you talking about me, Scam Chan? I'm just a regular person trying
Yeah,
to
it's Scam Chan. He's an
Oh.
atheist, and he's just questioning some of the things that we've talked about tonight. Because as an atheist, he's like, "Oh, I don't believe in magic. I don't believe in like a lot of this stuff." So we're trying to explain, like, all magic is not all hocus pocus. Some of this stuff is just like science, and what I'm saying, it seems magical, but it's really like just a herb that is able to do a certain thing. You know what I'm saying? And the people
Okay.
just have the practical knowledge on how to use that herb to do that, and not necessarily kill the person. They know how to give it just enough to, like, okay, we'll put you in a certain boom and whatever. You know what I'm saying? But then there's also herbs that will do something else. And that's all this really is. It's like, it's energy, herbs, all this stuff is. And my thing is, I don't understand how, even as an atheist, you don't. Well, maybe because string theory has not been proven yet all the way, but there is a such thing as string theory, and about vibration, and about like sound and vibration. So when a person is saying a certain thing and it goes into your mind and you begin to believe that thing, then that thing could come to fruition. Sometimes they could be putting that energy out there and you don't even know it. But the fact that they put that out there, that vibration of that energy can like affect you as well. So that's what we're talking about, is that everything is not always about like just what could be seen, and a lot of times, we get so deep into, well, it's either like fact or not, and it's like, well, there's a lot of things on this earth that are unseen, so it's not realistic to think that there's things that are unseen that can happen, and that's all he's been talking about here, is like the unseen hand of, like, things that are going on in this world.
Okay. So with that all said, I want to, if I can just ask you a question, please, Elmira. It's Elmira?
Yes, Elmira.
Elmira, thank you. Okay. So I was going to ask you about how much of magic, or whatever you want to call it, how much of it is just the confidence and the faith that is actually I guess you could say, a vibration that you send out. How much of that is, like, what percentage of that is plays into the success of whatever work or intention that you're trying to do? How much of that is faith? And then I want to ask you another question. So if you could answer that, like, because I know one thing about you that I notice: you are always confident in every single thing that you do, every intention. So how much of that actually brings you to success in your work?
Well, I would say confidence is a small portion, because it's like this. Confidence is only because you've seen this happen over and over. It's redundant. So if someone says, "I'm going to fuck you up," it's because they know what's going to happen to the person. When you do a lot of, let's just say, you participate in extracurricular activities long enough, you know what the outcome's going to be. So yes, you first do it, you don't have any confidence. You're like, okay, well, whatever, you know, this thing doesn't work, whatever. And all of a sudden, you see this happens. Oh shit! Then you do it again. So you fuck around more, and now you find out more, because now you're like, oh my god. So now the addiction happens. Now you're addicted to the witchcraft. So you're doing it more and more and more and more, and you're seeing the same response. That's where the confidence comes in. Because I know you're just playing, you're just talking, but I know what we're going to do to you, you're not going to be ready for that. So confidence is a small portion. That's like 5%. Now, what you mix up in your gumbo pot, that's where the power lies. Now, if you want to add a little salt with your petitions and prayers, that's up to you. But I'd say 5%.
Oh, wow.
The rest is the work.
Okay, and that signature laugh, it is amazing. I love that laugh because it, you know, there was another, he was an actor though, a while ago. There was this, he was a Haitian actor, and he used to do that laugh that you do. And
I would definitely say it's a Haitian thing, because
it
a lot of
is
it's a Haitian thing. You'll find a lot of practitioners. I mean, listen, I don't mean to say this, I don't mean to take us in a dark place, but a lot of us laugh at the suffering of our enemies.
Mhm.
And it's just something that's ingrained in us. I mean, listen, you know, if you've been doing us wrong for so long, and now we get our justice that the courts can't give us, of course we're going to laugh. You know, I'm just saying, it's just part of our culture. And I always say this, when we got out of slavery, we had enough time to practice the nonsense on each other to know how effective things are. And
Mhm.
again, it is just in the culture. You'll find a lot of people that are into what I'm into. They may have a similar laugh. It's just part of our culture. We'll watch you burning in hell and laugh at you and not
Yeah.
feel any remorse for it whatsoever.
Well, let me say this. I have on my dad's side, they're Haitian and Dominican, and I think I can relate to that because it's when it's not a laugh that it sounds dark, and well, dark is good in a lot of instances, but it sounds sinister, but there's still this indignation, like this justice that has just been served in there. So thank you for that. But I just want to ask you one more question, and I don't want to take the interview over. This is great. I do want to ask you, getting back to what Genesis was saying a little bit. I've been studying time and entropy and all this great stuff about quantum physics. And so what if everything, all the spirits that we name, gods and orishas and netters and everything else, what if that is actually the existence of us, you know, in different realms, like different times?
Well,
Talk to us about that.
I would say this, there is no limit to what you can learn. You know, no limits to these mysteries. I mean, listen, I prefer to remain grounded. I choose not to excel or go any higher because it's a scary concept. When you start drifting into these higher realities, you may lose your mind. I mean, at least that's for me. Some people can go into higher levels of consciousness or higher levels of understanding, and they're fine. But the concept of oneness from earlier on is a scary concept to me. You know, listen, earlier on they had a shaman on, earlier on they were speaking about the oneness. I don't want to experience true oneness because true oneness is a scary concept to me. No one else exists but you. I mean, listen, maybe for some people that's fine. But again, to get back to your question, there's no limit to how much you can learn. But with how much you can learn, you got to be willing to take it, because some people can't take the truth. The truth will ultimately break some people.
Wow.
So for me, I prefer to live on earth and enjoy my life and not get too high.
Okay. One last thing, and I'm just going to fall back. The
Hey,
crucifix.
listen. I like these questions you're asking. You ain't gonna fall back.
Okay, I don't want to. This is my
Hey,
friend over here. I don't want to
listen.
take it over.
I've been asking questions for an hour now. Like, listen.
Oh
You
wow,
need
he's
to know.
probably tired of it. Okay, but let me ask you.
He's
I'd like
not.
to.
No, listen. He said that he was down for the smoke, so we here to ask the question. So come on.
Mhm.
Okay, awesome. So the crucifix, because some people get confused. I don't. I get it. I get it. I know a little bit about what my friend Genesis is a practitioner of. She's priestess of Santeria. And then, of course, there's Voodoo, and it's all in the same island of Hispaniola, right? So tell me, what does a crucifix mean to you when you're wearing it, not really being a traditional Christian?
The reason why I have DUME tattooed on my fingers. What does that mean? If you're into hoodoo, if you're into, workings and you're working candles, then you know what DUM means. It means destruction unto my enemies. So Bawon, yes, in our cultural tradition, the cross for Bawon Samedi, or the god of the dead, is the cross, right? So usually people who serve Bawon, you know what they're about. So for me, that's just a symbol. If you know, you know. If you don't, you know. You don't, you don't. You know. But what it represents is my profession, what I stand for, what I'm into. They say, see, you know what? I'll just leave it as that. Yes.
Now listen. I was gonna say this is that Nepal. I was talking about how people are able to use the Bible and be able to cast spells through the Psalms and the Proverbs. Is there a thing that's connected even to voodoo with the Bible and casting those spells? Because I've seen people in Louisiana that are voodoo practitioners go into the Bible and then take out what's the damn the Psalms and Proverbs, because those are like, they say it's a book of spells. So what would you say about that?
Well, I know, that's a little far fetched with the book of spells, but some people, in a voodoo sense, people can use scriptures from the Bible for just moral lessons, right? That's one aspect, right? Now, there are some people that may use certain books of the Bible for chants to bring down the destruction of their enemies, because they're like prayers for some people. Just like you have some of these books in the botanicas, that have different prayers, recitations, and something like that, saying oracion, whatever, they're used for different purposes. So some people could take certain passages from the Bible and basically say those things to help or to bring condemnation to someone, that they may love or hate.
Do you ever study grimoire, like that type of, like? Do you? What about spell books? Real spell books, like the. What is your take on that? Do you have anything specifically that you look into, or that you say go read this or study?
No, because we have a saying in Haitian Voodoo, "Pagan leave no Voodoo," which means there are no books in Voodoo. Basically, yeah, you can write your own notebook, but the thing about it is everything comes from your experience. Now, someone can give you a little game here and there and say, well, this can do this can do that. But ultimately, Voodoo is, let me say this. Let me just say, in the business of magie, in magic, it's about experience. And we can say that even in the religion aspect of Voodoo, it's all about experience, but that's what they say, but a lot of people fall into the whole ritualistic aspect where it's redundant. But the thing about it is, there's no books in Voodoo. That's the saying that we say.
I knew you were going to say that. I'm just throwing these questions out for people to get what you teach. I want you to also. I don't know if she touched on this. You are a bit of a relationship advisor. I see you doing a lot of information on, not the typical, like, love counseling, but you give a lot of advice that is very unconventional. If you don't mind, I don't know if I'm putting you on the spot, but you had this short that I saw, and I'm trying to remember what it's about. It is titled "Give Her," what is it? "Give Her Fake Jewelry" or something like that.
Sometimes, listen, okay, yeah, listen.
Yeah, let me hear from
Sometimes
you.
I would be clowning around.
No,
Some good.
no. First off, listen. I love the shorts, and that's your personality. You're hilarious, but you're very intimidating, but you are approachable. It's like a paradox. So don't think that I'm putting you on the spot in a bad way. I want
Right,
people to
right.
see that other side of you.
Yes, okay, yes. I listen, shorts, YouTube shorts, I would say that's where I just put a lot of nonsense. Sometimes I do nonsense, stuff that I really don't mean just to piss people off because hey, it helps the algorithm. It boosts up the fucking views. Now, if you want to believe that what I'm saying to you, then go ahead. But everyone knows me for the past couple of years. That's all nonsense and jokes. I may say, hey, well, don't buy her nothing for her birthday. Don't buy her nothing from her birthday. Basically, I mean, listen, some of the filth that I would put out back in the day, it's like, listen, I had to tone down because it's like, you get into a relationship, so now, you gotta be careful with the things you say because you're with someone and you don't want that stuff to reflect on that person. But I would definitely say there's some shorts that I would make just to basically shock value, But when it comes down to relationships, on a serious note, it's
Mhm.
really in regards to the magie, the love magic, because it's gearing a person to how you're supposed to react when you're doing this type of work, right? You don't want to be, like I usually say, if you're going to do a love spell on someone, you don't want to be arguing back and forth, showing up to where they live unexpectedly. You don't want to be calling them back and forth. So, when it comes to me being serious about love magic, we're talking
Mhm.
about relationships. It's really geared towards the magie aspect, Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're so I did kind of blend the question with the seriousness of your love magic advice. You now it can you
We were kind of getting into sex magic. He said it was taboo, but I'm like, okay.
well, the love spells, I don't know. I want to get that explained to me because I think that's
What's
way
the difference
before the
between love magic and sex magic? Is there a
Okay,
difference?
well, I wanted to ask, could someone accidentally or inadvertently put a love spell on someone, or does the person, is it really that easy to put a love spell on someone? You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say this: it's never accidental. When
Okay.
someone goes to someone to do stuff like that, that's intentional.
Mm.
Nobody just accidentally put a person's picture in this type of substance here. Nobody. No, they take, whoever makes it, they have to take their time out to mix this stuff up. They may have who knows how much concoctions of different substances and items, right? So that's clearly not a mistake. So now that's something that some people do, and that's not accidental. That's intentional.
Wow. So so people can actually, if they wanted to learn this information, what would you warn people? Well, I know you already did a little bit right now. You made you said some things about don't basically become a stalker, but I do notice you do have some information where I don't know if it's like warning, but you tell people know what you're getting into, right? Can you explain what you mean by that when it comes to love spells?
Oh, know what you're getting into because there's certain rules and regulations, right? Now, for people that believe in the spirit or spiritual stuff, right? Now, there's certain beings that you may make a contract with. And that being's contract is you cannot step outside of the relationship or else you're going to get fucked up. Now, I tell people I've never done witchcraft a day in my life. But now listen, there's a story. Here it goes. I remember this. I know I got so many stories, so excuse me. I'm just trying to go in my mental library and pick out one. But I'll give you an example. Something rated PG for the internet, right? I remember this lady. She had what they call a binding spell, right?
Mhm.
And she was told, you cannot entertain any other man except the person you're working on. So let's just say, okay, whatever. She went out to go meet the individual, and as soon as she opened her car door, a vehicle came out of nowhere and ripped the car door off the hinge. Now, she could have been hit. Now, there's another guy who has cattle, right? And let's just say he's in the same contract. Now, don't ask me how I know this, but he's in a contract similar to that. He was told not to mess around with any other women, and he did. Next morning, he wakes up, his one of his cows end up dead.
Mm.
Right? So that's a little rated PG for you. And then on top of that, I'll get a little rated R for you. I remember this lady was trying. Now, again, don't ask me how I know these stories, but I'll just tell you, there was this lady. I'll give you two stories. There was this lady. Should I give you this one? I got two right now. I remember this lady, she paid someone to break two people up, right? Well, I'll give you three. I'll give you three for the price of one. She paid someone to separate these people. One of the people that were in that separation, well, let's just say the couple, it was a man and a woman. One day, the woman got mad. She picked up her gun and shot the guy in the head. He lived. The woman went to jail or prison. Now, there was another story. There was a lady in Atlanta, right? Let's just say someone paid to do a breakup spell on her and this guy. Let's just say some apparent reason the lady got agitated. She picked up a metal rod and hit the guy in the teeth or in the mouth and knocked all his teeth out, right? Then there was another lady. I remember she was she was dealing with this white man, and the white man was dealing with this black woman, right? And she wanted to separate them. The lady, in a year's time period, she caught cancer and she died. So this is what I say. When you start messing around with this stuff, you want to know what you're getting into, because the consequences can be great. You know what I'm saying? This is not no, dancing around chakra healing stuff. No.
Mm-hmm.
This shit can really be fucked up. Excuse my language. So you want to know before you do things, what are the outcomes? What are you doing? What are you getting yourself involved in? Because there's rules and regulations in this, and you got to respect the principles. Like we say, faut respecter principe.
You know what? I appreciate that about you, because there are other people on the internet, just teaching people how to do these things, and they don't tell them the severity or the seriousness of it and the consequence. It was a pleasure to finally get to sit and have a bit of, one-on-one, not really one-on-one, but conversate with you. I hope to talk to you again in the future. I'm actually on a panel co-hosting, but I saw Genesis is in here, and I was like, wow, like I said, I just told her about you this afternoon, and she worked very fast. I'm glad she did. I'm going to go back to the other panel, but thank you for answering my questions. And Genesis, thank you for letting me come in and ask these questions. It's a real pleasure once again, Elmira, and to the brother Scam Chan, you said your name is? Peace to you. All right, everybody, have a good build. I'm going to be
so listen, I have a, well, you know what, Scam Chan, do you have any more questions? Thank you so much, DePaul.
All right, bye.
All right, peace. Do you have any more questions? Do you have a question, Scam Chan?
Well, the only question I had, I wasn't really bothered by the plants and chemical aspect of it. I'm all about the spiritual part that I don't see evidence for.
Is there a question though?
Well, yeah. I mean,
that's a direct question.
You're talking about energy this and spirit that and spiritual realm this and that, and all this is all connected. And Okay,
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. See, you are the perfect candidate for someone that's into that lifestyle. See, the thing about you is, listen, to not believe, who the fuck wants you to believe, man? You know what I'm saying? That is, listen, my thing is, you're the perfect candidate. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, listen, by you not believing, that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? See, the thing is, I'm not here to convince anyone, because why would I want to convince someone that this stuff is real? Excuse me, not me. People that's into that type of working. Because everybody knows I'm a Christian. I've never done witchcraft a day in my life. But for people that are into that type of activity, you would be the perfect candidate. You know, you'd be the perfect candidate. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it's great that you don't believe, because this shit is fake. Listen, trust me. Listen, I'm keeping it real with you. Scam. This stuff is fake. It's not real. It's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not real. You know what I'm saying? It's not real. Listen, it's not real. See, I would just say, in my world, listen, you're better off not believing. It's fake, brother. It's fake. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Man, so I want to show you something really quick, and I want you to give your opinion about this. So hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what do you think about this? Right.
Now, okay. Now, that right there, they claim that it's Diddy, the tattoo that he has on his back. That would be, some people said Ezeli Dontor, some people said Ezeli Mapiyang. I mean, listen, it tells you everything right there. So what Diddy has been accused of, I mean, come on, that's like, hello, if you know what Ezeli Dontor is all about, and people who serve Ezeli Dontor, then I mean, you know, what he's been accused of is not a no-brainer, right? I mean, listen, if they talking about his sexual practices and sexual desires, I mean, hey, you know, I mean, listen, most men that are into voodoo that serve Ezeli Dontor exclusively are either gay or bisexual.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that Ezeli Dontor was Oshun, and
No.
What is the difference between Ezeli Dontor and Oshun?
Ezeli Dontor is one of those spirits that fall into the Pitwo kingdom, right? That is a very powerful spirit that can be a good motherly spirit. She can be all the above. She can be your girlfriend. She can be your wife. She can be your mother. But just don't get on her bad side. She'll protect your children. She'll protect you. But don't cross her. Because all that protection that she gives you, she can take it back from you. Let's just say it's like checking in with certain gangs, right? The thing is, if you don't pay your dues, I mean, listen, they're going to say to you, well, we're not responsible for what happens to you, right? So you should be able to read between the lines there. That's how Ezeli Dontor functions. If you make an agreement with her, and let's just say you don't fulfill your side of the bargain, I mean, whatever you get is whatever you get. It's like she's not responsible for what happens to you. And you can read between the lines of what I'm saying to you. I'll give you an example. Years ago, there was this lady who got a connection to Dontor, right? So she had a contract with Ezeli Dontor, right? She had to do this for X amount of days, and she chose not to. So let's just say she went a couple of weeks, she was serving, and she got relaxed. Well, both her and her friend were in a very dangerous car accident. I think her friend broke her leg. Her head went through the windshield, and she was bleeding crazy. So, yeah, she just stopped her service. And, you know, again, Ezeli Dontor is not responsible for what happens to you, right? Mm-hmm.
So when you get into so now let's get into some weird stuff. So when you have a person like, because what it sounds like to me, they were mixing a bit of voodoo, because I think that Puffy is Haitian. Is he Haitian?
I have no idea. I don't.
I know
I
there's
don't
like he was dealing with Haitian Jack, and I don't know
yes,
why
of
he would
course.
have
Yes, yes. That's
so
what has been
there would
said.
be no reason why he would have a big old tattoo of that on his back unless he knew what he was doing. There's no way that you would do that, right? So he has to have some connection to the voodoo practice. But there's also a practice when it comes down to Aleister Crowley. And then that's why I was talking about sex magic, right? Now, Aleister Crowley and his people understood this thing about sex magic and
Well,
how
let me say something about sex magic. Do you what I would say this. What you think of as sex magic is not what I think of when it comes to sex magic. Because when people are doing sex magic, well, what you call sex magic in my culture is never for anything of, oh, I'm having sex with you and I'm concentrating on this or reaching my highest level of spirituality. Fuck no. It's bitch, you're gonna suck my dick and I'm gonna do what the fuck you asked me to do because
that's
you ain't
what
got
sex
anybody that
magic
I
is
need.
in your culture. Like that's what it is.
I'm just saying, when you're in the
Is that
game,
what he been doing though? And
I'm
isn't
just
that what
saying,
Aleister Crowley was
listen,
doing?
if you're in the game of, let's just say, evil doing, I'm just saying you're gonna have some people that's like that operate like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're gonna give me this. If you ain't got this type of money for me, then just like a typical drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like that and shit get done. I'm just saying, if you want me to keep it real, Port-au-Prince real with you, that's how it is. So when you speak of sex magic, I can only think of it in that terms of how we, in my culture, how we know it as.
But
It's never
okay,
for
so if you're
anything
thinking about
beneficial.
that, what he was doing, right? What he's doing is throwing these parties, and he's bringing in kids and bringing in like prostitutes and
Now,
this and
now that aspect, that's probably, I don't know how deep that goes with him, but I know within my culture, when we talk about stuff, is usually in exchange. It's never for any type of I'm doing this for a spirit or anything like that. Not to say that's not possible, but usually, that's usually how people indulge into such practice.
So almost like they were like being swingers and just being freaky.
Ooh, in
But
that
okay,
sense.
so what about a situation with Aleister Crowley where they would
What
intentionally
about?
like? Are you aware of Aleister Crowley and his whole
I'm
thing where
familiar.
they would
I've
be
heard
able
of
to
polyester
mix
crowd.
certain
Yes,
things
I've heard of
together,
him.
like
Yeah.
yeah. So do you know what they were
Again,
doing?
that's like that's European occultism. Again, we seen what happened to E.A. Koetting. I mean, he's no longer here now. I mean, he's not around anymore. But I'm just saying, if his stuff was effective, I mean, he was at the top of the world. Yeah, he could. I mean, I'm just saying this. So I say that to say, if it was that effective, I mean, hey, I don't know. Europeans from different parts of Europe, before Haiti went to what it was in, you'd find Europeans from all over Europe going down to Haiti to get certain things done or to make certain contracts. So I don't know too much. Like Aleister Crowley, I mean, I've heard of the things that he used to do, but again, that's not where I'm from. I can't really even speak on his stuff. But again, maybe it worked for him. But I don't know.
So what it was, so I'm gonna let you know what it was. So what they did was they would have certain practices they would do. They would mix certain fluids together, and then from those fluids mixing, it would create a demon. So imagine if you mix boo boo along with some little bit of pee, a little bit of like cum, and like a little bit of this, and then sometimes it might be some pain, blood, everything. That would create what they would call a demon that would come out, and they could ask the demon for things. Are you aware about that?
Now, I'm not aware of the mixing the stuff together, but I'm quite familiar with, some of his rituals in regards to summoning demons. And, when you're in the know, I would definitely say it's not the way people actually put it. You know, when you're talking about Aleister Crowley, you're going into Goetia. You're talking about summoning demons of the Goetia, right? What they call it, 72 demons or something like that. I mean, there's a book called The Lesser Keys of
Yeah.
Solomon that has all the seals of the demons, right? Now,
Right.
but if you're talking about him creating one, I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, people find spirits all the time, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily creating, because you're dealing with energies that have been here for eons of time. I mean, listen, does time even exist? I mean, you're talking about spirits that are eternal. So whether you're utilizing urine or whether you're utilizing whatever, you're only bringing something into existence which has already been there. Kind of like Christopher Columbus, they're saying that he's discovered Norfolk. He's discovered America, the Americas.
Right. So you know what? All right. So you know what? We're getting into the second hour, about to end pretty soon. So one last thing I wanted to ask is about the Hadron Collider. What do you think about that?
Huh? Can you repeat that, please?
The Hadron Collider, because they're saying that they're trying to find dark matter.
That's a little bit, that's a little bit beyond my scope of
I'm going to say this. So there is a machine in Switzerland that's made into a circle, and that circle is banging particles together. It's called a particle accelerator, right? And what they're doing is that it creates like mini black holes. And then they're saying that there are creatures and kind of like entities that are coming up out of this thing. And then it is creating like some kind of effect, whatever, like they say the Mandela effect. So do you believe that because okay, we practice magic, right? So this is the scientific application of this magic, right? That we practice, right? Okay, we're saying that, oh, okay, well, we can like say things could happen. What they're doing is they're actually practicing it in a real way and trying to create a black hole on Earth.
Let me just
and trying to create the God particle, which is dark matter that created everything, and then trying to be able. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but it's crazy as hell. Whatever they're doing is wild.
Oh, okay. You want me to comment on that?
Yeah, because bottom line, this is like the physical, because we have a person right here, Scam Chan, right, who is about practicality, right, about what's real. So you're talking about the esoteric, about how things can come into play. But I'm trying to show a practical thing where people are trying to do something using atoms, combining, smashing them together, and it's creating black holes, and the black hole will happen, and it'll go back down, and all kind of wild stuff going on. So
I'm gonna tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this: if blanc, right? I'm not gonna say it in English. I'll just use the word blanc, right? You know what blanco means in Spanish, right? You know what blanco means in Spanish?
What? Black, white?
It means right. So there it goes. Blanc. So whenever we talk about specific people, right? We call them blanc, right? So blanc, to us, he doesn't know nothing about spirituality, and he never will, right? You know what? Let me fix that. Let me take that back. I apologize, but I'll say this: in certain parts in Haiti, we're told you do not teach them. Now, for me, I would definitely say this: I don't get involved in that because I know there can be consequences for me opening up my mouth about certain things. And I don't need that type of energy, right? I don't need that type of heat. But I will definitely say there's a reason for that, because most of those people think that he doesn't know what he's doing. See, the thing about Blanc is that he's always trying to understand things logically and rationally, because some things are just, for him, if it's not on the books, if it's not concrete, then it's nonsense. So for us, I would say let him keep searching. That's all I would basically say about that. So whatever he's doing, maybe it's great works of science. Blunt has created a lot of great things on this earth. I can't take it away from him. But there's just certain things that he'll never understand. And the thing is, we're not here to encourage or say, stop doing what you're doing. Hey, create a greater, better world. Do what you got to do. But when it comes to this, we always say, shh.
Do you see it though? What does it look like to you?
What does it look like to me? I mean, it's an image of a bunch of things. I mean, what? I'm not too sure.
Like a womb to me, like a womb, like a womb. Nevertheless, but that's what it is. That's the Hadron Collider. That's what they're doing to create dark matter. And if you know what dark matter is, you understand that is how creation starts. Creation starts with darkness. So what they're trying to do is figure out how things come into being and how things are created, right? On this earth, right?
I mean, you gotta give it to Blunt. You gotta give it to him because he's a very inquisitive. Well, they are very inquisitive. They definitely made a mark with doing a lot of things on this earth. I gotta give it to him. Give him his credit where it's due. But again, keep searching, my brother.
So I'm gonna let Scam. So what we're gonna do is at 2 hours now. All right. So Scam Chan, I want you to either ask the last question, say the last thing, and then I want Haitian Bapur to give his wrap up. This is part one because I think we need a part two on this. Do you think so too?
I mean, I'm down.
Okay. So Scam Chan, what do you have to say?
Well, what I was talking about before was, I mean, all the talking points lead to the reality we all observe, be it by the plants and the chemicals, or are you talking about the spiritual that's supposed to manifest things into reality? If I tell somebody there's a blue car outside, we can go all out there and look and see that blue car outside. So if you're telling me that you can do spells, magic, voodoo, whatever, that can change what we see in reality, then it should be easy to say, hey, I got proof that it works, instead of laughing it off when it was just an honest question. It's just an honest question.
Right. I told you, this shit is fake. It's not real. So at the end of the day, I would say this, as far as this is concerned, listen, I only speak to people that believe in fairy tales. You know what I'm saying? So if you believe in fairy tales, my message is for you. But then again, if you don't believe in fairy tales, then keep on believing that, this stuff is what it is. Fairy tales. You know what I'm saying? So again, the thing about here, one thing about us in Voodoo, why the fuck do we want to convert you into our belief system? It's pointless. It's pointless. The thing is, we believe in fairy tales. We believe in nonsense. So there's no purpose for trying to convince someone to believe in this stuff. I mean, listen, that's it. I have no rebuttal. If someone says this stuff is fake, it's fake. And I will help you believe that it's fake. And again, don't take it offensively.
The only person that said it was fake was you. I never said anything about fake. I said.
But again, you're asking me to prove it. You're insinuating.
You're talking about it. So how hard is it to prove it?
Listen, you're asking to prove.
What about testimony? What about the people that have said that it worked for them?
Can I say something? You're asking me to prove something that is fake. Voodoo, witchcraft does not exist, my brother. What are you doing? You're telling me to prove something that doesn't even exist. Voodoo, witchcraft, whatever you want to call it, does not exist. It's fake. How can you prove something that doesn't exist, man?
I'm like, okay.
It doesn't exist.